What's good, everybody? I'm Josiah, the Prince, producer, artist, engineer based in Wisconsin, and you're now tuned into the Journey Podcast, where we strive to inspire the future generation of young entrepreneurs, creatives, and business owners. Make sure you tune into the Journey Podcast on Fridays at 7 p.m., where we have some amazing guests ranging from directors, record label owners, reality TV stars, actors, and so much more. Make sure you tap in, all right? And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, all right?
I know you want me, and you know I want you too, 'cause you know I want you bad. I can't wait to see you, 'cause I want you bad. I just want you freaking all night with me, yeah. I just want you freaking all night with me, yeah. 'Cause you know I want you bad. I can't wait to see you, 'cause I want you bad. I just want you freaking all night with me, yeah. I just want you freaking all night with me, yeah.
When I saw what you did, who you were with, got me questioning the things that I believe. So I asked myself, do I let you go, or do I keep you in the frame of my mind? 'Cause I'm growing wise to your sugar-coated lies. Nothing sweet about my misery, yes. I finally found what went wrong. I finally found the wrong in you. I finally found what went wrong. I finally found the wrong in you. Oh, don't want you on my mind. Don't want to feel you. Don't want you on my mind. Don't want to feel you. Don't want you on my mind. You again. Why'd you call? I don't need to hear you crying out my name. Unlike before, when you and I lay eye to eye, now it's time for you to taste the bitter end. So I ask myself, do I let you go, or do I keep you in the frame of my mind? 'Cause I'm growing wise to your sugar-coated lies. Nothing sweet about my misery, yes. I finally found what went wrong. I finally found the wrong in you. I finally found what went wrong. I finally found the wrong in you. Oh.
first, I'd like to say thank you for being on my podcast. I appreciate you.
Of course.
All right, so let's get right into this interview. For the people who don't know who you are, can you tell our viewers who Misbehaving is?
Misbehaving is more of, I feel like an energy, honestly. It's kind of a name that was coined for me as a musician, and I did start a band and we were Misbehaving. My name is Haven. Hi. People call me Miss B, Misbehaving, whatever, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like not just me as a performer, it's just out and about who I am, the energy I bring, what the name means, which is just music, right? Doing things a little bit different, and I think that doesn't really answer the question, but it's pretty close. Misbehaving is just anything you want it to be, any music, any instrument, I am what the people need me to be for them.
Gotcha. So how long have you been a musician?
20 years. So I started, my parents noticed around the age of 7, I was really into instruments and making music, singing. I was a very fluent reader, so I started reading music very young as well. And they just kind of kicked me off straight from there. And that led into high school and college, finding myself, graduating, and now here I am. Fresh 27, not even 30 yet, baby. And it's just been a part of my life since I can remember to know what dreams and aspirations were. So I'd say about 20 years, probably about 7 professionally.
That's pretty dope.
It's a good life.
Right. That's amazing that you had that support system from such a young age. Not too many people have that.
Yeah, it was really nice to kind of, well, I was adopted by my grandparents, so it was kind of nice to, I guess, find a little bit of separation from my family and what that all entailed. Like my entire family, my biological mom, everyone, drug addicts, alcoholics, not an environment I could see myself becoming who I am now in musically or as a person. So the fact that I was adopted and my family stepped in and my grandparents took care of me like that inspired my music side. It sparked it. But later down the road, that experience and that journey really fueled my music creation along the way, too. Gotcha.
A diamond in the rough.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. You were able to come out that situation and become even greater.
That's what it feels like, you know?
Right. So who or what inspired you to get involved in the music industry?
The music industry that I'm involved in now, like the real scene, the traveling, the touring, the making music, that kind of thing, it was definitely myself initially. I went through a breakup post-college, oh, boo-hoo. And it kind of forced me to step outside of my comfort zone and outside of my apartment for once and dive into like the open mic scene and different performers and live music opportunities around Kenosha. And then that kind of just introduced me to more friends that did music. And then all of those friends contributed to my activity and involvement in the music scene now. So myself initially, but the community kept me here.
Okay. With all your musical gifts, you've been able to be part of not just one, but multiple bands. Can you tell us about them and how you ended up joining them?
Yeah, so Misbehaving was my first band. It was me, bass, guitar, drums, and we were like a jazz, hip-hop, R&B, alternative blend type thing. And when that kind of disintegrated after COVID and everything, I was just really doing my own music for a while, just kind of doing little mini shows here and there. And then I started to pick up the drums just for fun. Like, hip-hop is in my soul. It's a part of who I am. It's a part of what got me through life as a kid. So drums for me, it's all like that heavy kick and like that pop in that snare and that really light, fast, crisp hi-hat. And so I would just put on my favorite rap songs, my favorite albums, and sit at the creative space, Kenosha Creative Space, and just play. And one day I recorded it, and Would You Kindly, a local rock band, found the video, and I had already known them and seen them grow as a band for ages. And they were like, so we need a drummer. Will you come audition? I was like, I'm not really a drummer, guys. Like, I goof, okay? I'm a goof on the kit. And they were like, no, please come audition. And I did, and within 20 minutes, they were like, all right, tell everyone else, get out of here. Like, we're not taking anyone else who auditioned. We're just gonna straight go right through with you. And 6 months later, Betsy 8 and the Well-Known Strangers, they had been looking for a keyboard player for years. And my boyfriend, Cameron Fair, is the cellist, the electric cellist in that band. And they were traveling to Scotland. So they're like, hey, you know, if you agree to just learn our music enough to get us through this Scotland tour, we'll find someone else when we get back from Scotland, you know, but we really need this part of our sound. It's crucial. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. I'll go to Scotland. After like 2 shows playing with them before Scotland to prepare, they were like, nah, we can't just do this and be done. We can't lose this. We can't cut this off. Will you just, like, can we keep her? Will you be a part of this forever? And I was like, yeah, why not? Add it on. Throw it in the pile. So both bands recording an EP for Would You Kindly right now, planning a 2023 tour. Same thing for Betsy 8 and the Well-Known Strangers. We went to Scotland this July. It was so cool. And we're traveling again next summer, touring internationally. So, man, how it all came to be happened very, very fast. And I hope it lasts for a while because I enjoy both aspects of each band. So
That's amazing. Being able to travel and let your gift just take you everywhere you couldn't imagine.
Yeah. The possibilities are endless with music. It's a universal language. Doesn't matter where you go. Doesn't matter what they speak. When you're there, it's just... You're there for music. You're there for a common purpose. Like, it's a unity.
So true. So true. How was Scotland?
Oh my gosh, so much whiskey. Let me tell you, I'll just be real. I don't handle dark liquor very well. So when I went over there, I was initially super excited because their cider selection, they have so many ciders. And I'm like, oh, this is great. But by day 2, everyone was gunning me because... I'm sitting there drinking ciders. They're like, you're in Scotland, you gotta drink whiskey. I'm like, all right, well, I don't really know how to do this. And we ended up going on a distillery tour in Oban. And I was gone. Like, when by the time we got out of that little tour and they give you like a little flight of all these fancy whiskeys. And I'm like, is this how you guys always drink? Because everyone at the bar has one of these all night long. So Scotland was just wild. The culture, I've been to Japan, I've been to South Africa, I've been to Mexico, I've been all over the United States. But the culture there is very just kind of what you would picture it. Just like a drink in your hand and arm in arm and kicking it and making music, loud music. It was a place that I was meant to be, I think. Definitely a home base for me.
That's love out there and lively. It sounds
like
somewhere I'd love to go one
So
day.
much energy. They do this thing where when you're at a show, I've never experienced something like this in America. When there's like a lull, like when the beat cuts out and it's like real low, right? Mm-hmm. The entire audience, they'll just be like, here we fucking go! And they just start going crazy and they build it. And then by the time the bass drops, everyone's like, rah! And you're like, whoa. Where is this energy in American bars? Because it's not like we were at some giant stadium where you would expect that.
Right.
We were at like the tiniest little dive bars. Like the tiniest hole in the wall. Like if you were to go throw down at Marcy's, imagine it packed and everyone throwing down for every song. Like I haven't experienced something like that here yet. I hope to very soon.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I'd imagine probably in the bigger cities, more homely, like, brotherly love type cities,
right.
That would probably happen in.
Right.
Definitely. So since you've been able to travel, be part of many bands, what would you say are the differences between working independently as a solo recording artist versus being in a band?
I gotta think about that one for a second.
Take your time.
So I would say the biggest difference is a little loss of self. And I don't know if it's because of how it started. I don't know if most people kind of like join a band or join a project and then eventually they're like, you know what, I can do this on my own and like branch off and do their own thing. I did the exact flip opposite. I started as the face of Misbehaving. That's me. You know, out in Kenosha, Racine, we ended up getting a recording label producer in Chicago, Stonecutter Studios, and I really enjoyed working there, but after COVID, it all kind of crumbled away, so I really lost a sense of myself, like my band, my project. My frontlining days are over. So it was kind of like I was thrown all these bones from two very well-known bands in Kenosha, Racine area. And I just kind of took it. You know, I'm like, I'm not making music, I'm depressed. Like, musicians not making music, not happy. And I was like, yeah, I'll play drums, I'll play piano, I'll sing backup vocals, I'll stand behind or next to someone rather than right in that limelight. As long as I'm making music, as long as it's flowing through me. And now that I've been in both bands for about a year and a half for the other, I'm kind of starting to get to a sense again of like what I lost and the perspective of I was this close. Like I was so close to being that person, being that face, you know, like Ariana Grande, Nicki Minaj, like all those like females who just are their own thing. I was so close to that, and it's all gone. So I love performing with my bands. I love the music they make, and I'm a part of the creative process now, but it's a whole different ballgame when it's my own music. It's a whole different world. It's more personal, and it gets a little sad because it's not put out there as much as, you know, two bands that are actively touring. Their content is out there all the time. Mine is kind of on a sidebar. So it's a love-hate relationship.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you've had the opportunity to travel with these bands and perform live. Can you tell our viewers how it is to travel with a band and how to prepare for it? For a tour?
Yeah. Sit down and make a list, okay? Let me tell you right now. First thing is, when you travel with a band, it's not just the band. So even if you're a smaller band, like say 3 members, 4 members, right? Your manager's got to come with. You got to have people to help with the equipment. You got to have people who have connections in the area. Like, you have to have those people. So it's not just the members of the band. It's members in the band plus maybe 2, 3, 4 more. And when you go on these extravagant out-of-the-country tours, you better be prepared. Like, this is... Any reality TV show would make buku bucks off of just following a touring band. Like, we had 14 days in Scotland with Betsy Aid and the Well-Known Strangers, and I performed 13 out of 14 of those days. 13 shows in 14 days. And when you sit down and think about what that means, your living situation, your traveling situation, you are with these people 24/7. So you better A, be prepared for some bumpy roads, and B, be prepared to talk about it when you get back home. And C, just remember like what you're there for, right? You're there for the music. There were a couple venues we were kind of upset because here we are halfway across the world and there's not as many people as we had hoped would be at this venue or in this bar. But at the end of the day, who cares? You're in Scotland performing, like making music, your music, and I think that's the important thing. Remember what you're there for and be prepared to treat your band or the people that you're with like family and solve it and communicate when you get home and communicate positively while you're there too.
Right. I think people forget that when you're in a band, how many moving parts and how many people are actually attached to this. And then the fact that you have all these people around you, you have to be able to trust these people, feel comfortable around them, and y'all have to be able to carry each other.
Right.
It takes a powerful group of individuals to be able to stay together, especially in another country.
In another country, plus every single person in the group has a different personality trait or ways that they like things to be handled. So you got to be able to communicate, find common grounds, agree on things. It's a lot more than just a vacation. Like, a lot of people said that when I left, like, oh, hope you're enjoying your vacation. I'm like, it's a tour. It's work.
Right.
We are working. We are tired. Like, there's a lot more to it. You just got to mentally be prepared for it and understand that it's not like a little mini vacay. Right. Like you're working, you're putting in work so that you can continue to see good work from your work. Right. That was a mouthful.
Right. A lot of people forget that when you're on tour, it's not a vacation. We aren't just sitting around and just hopping on stage and having fun, turning up in front of you. No, we had to prepare before we even got to this stage. We had to get to the hotel, get a little bit of rest in if we even have enough time. If you have the
time and the chance to even try.
Right.
Right. And then you got to unload, do your sound check, reload. Right. There's so much more to it. Get it all back to the hotel, plus airports. Ooh, yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
So at this point in our interviews, we like to give a spotlight to an amazing creative in the community. So we're going to take the time to let the spotlight shine, okay?
Sounds good.
What shorts on? What? What you tell me? I know they say your tickets all out. May the Lord bless you. She got the toes out and some sandals on. You're going to baby girl. Baby girl. This ain't no club. This is church. Church! Yep, church.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here because God wants you to take everything negative out your life. Amen. Yes, Lord. He says, if it is not of him or necessity, it's irrelevant. Church. He says, and this him himself, he said, if you tweak, you can turn to a skeleton. Yes, Lord. Irrelevant. All of it's really relevant. It's just, they already know that you're better than them.
Who's that?
Now who wants to do a testimony? Brother 3.
Yes, sir.
Brother 3. Come on.
Hello, congregation. Yes, Lord. Talk to me.
Ooh, Josiah.
Hey. Irrelevant. All of these niggas irrelevant. They already know that I'm better than. He turn that boy to a skeleton. Irrelevant. All of these bitches irrelevant. She tweak, give her back for a better bitch. I'm out here focused on getting rich. We on. Do a couple shows and we gone. Bitch, I'm cold like Freon. They already know what 3 on. We on. I wipe your nose for a C-note. We ballin' and talking casinos. We fuck your bitch and then we gone. I wrote this shit like an editor. I'm telling niggas I'm better than. This shit is getting repetitive. Been back to back, man, this shit is consecutive. You can end another rapper that be fucking with me. Do a track with who? He be ducking me. I be killing shit and I ain't really with the fuckery. Came from the hood, now everything luxury. Back then a woman, now shawty wanna fuck with me. Not from the mill, but I got a couple bucks on me. Got rap on lock, shit in custody. Man, I never gave a fuck when niggas started me. Do I think a competition, nigga, hardly. Ballin' like James, that's Harden. Was on the bitch, now I'm starting. Niggas ain't got D, can't guard me. All these niggas hate us. Bitches know that shade. Small shit to a A. Boy, you broke, can't relate. I got bars, can't escape. Been the future, why you late? I'm the best it's ever did. You niggas irrelevant. All of these niggas irrelevant. They already know that I'm better than. He turn that boy to a skeleton. Irrelevant. All of these bitches irrelevant. She tweak, give her back for a better bitch. I'm out here focused on getting rich. We on. Do a couple shows and we gone. Bitch, I'm cold like Freon. They already know what 3 on. We on. I wipe your nose for a C-note. We ballin' and talking casinos. We fuck your bitch and then we gone.
Don't know you ain't selling shit. How you hot but you never lit? Sending shots but forever brick. Riding coattails, peasant shit. I'm that nigga in my residence. Niggas break when that pressure hit. They be talking a whole lot of rhetoric. When I speak it's a whole lot of presidents. Jacksons and bitches attracting the envy. Stay under the hood like the back of a Hemi. And shorty got curves like the back of a Bentley. I'm going, I'm zoning, the activist in me. I'm sipping Patron and the yak was just in me. Don't ask me about bitches, cause man, I got plenty. I'm focused on getting them stacks, do you hear me? So tell all them haters back, don't come near me. I'll let this bitch go. We quick when we came on a tiptoe. That's boom, boom, boom on the flip modes. I'll bust the rhymes on a bitch hole. This ain't new to me, nigga. I'm true to me, nigga. These little boys ain't reach puberty, nigga. Money talking, speaking fluently, nigga.
Irrelevant, irrelevant. All of these niggas irrelevant. They already know that I'm better than. He turn that boy to a skeleton. Irrelevant, irrelevant. All of these bitches irrelevant. She tweak give her back for a better bitch. I'm out here focused on getting rich. We on. Do a couple shows and we gone. Bitch, I'm cold like Freo. They already know what 3 on. We on. I wipe your nose for a C-note. We ballin', they talking casinos. We fuck your bitch and then we gone.
Tell me what's
Ooh, Josiah.
All right, y'all. That was our Spotlight Creative. Make sure you tap in with them. So, before we left, we began talking about your music career, the band you worked with, and the life of a band on tour. Have you ever thought about, thought about starting your own band? Because you already had your own band.
I kind of did that. Thanks for the brutal reminder. No, yeah, it's my dream. I've actually made it very clear to both bands, like, man, if something pops off, I don't know how or why or when this could ever happen, but like if somebody in LA is like, hey, I'm gonna scoop you for this label and you're gonna be famous, like I want to do that. It is my dreams. Like the most recent song I wrote is called Sold My Soul, and it's about how you can just give away so much of your gifts, your talent, your skill, your time, your mental, your energy to these things, but then you kind of lose yourself and your dreams in the aspect of that. And I haven't lost that dream. I've grown farther away from it because of the focus I've got on my other bands right now. So, man, it is a dream. It is a dream. I don't know if it's a voice and I need to get the spin. I don't know if that's what I need. Right? Like Betsy was on The Voice for a little bit and it really helped hype the band. I don't know if American Idol, I don't know if those shows, I know they're kind of garbage. Like behind the scenes, it's not the real deal, but how does this happen? How do people get there? Because even, especially in like the rap and the hip hop community, some people that I see pop up, like, can we talk about the Island Boys? What happened? Like what? Why them? And not people like you and me who are out here doing this every day of every week, working on our music, production, sound, and putting it out there. And how do people just get so lucky,
Yeah, a lot of times when I talk to people about that, it's not just the music. A lot of times you'll be acting or they'll see you do TikTok videos or YouTube videos, and they go to look at that and they're like, who is this person? And then they go to see who you are and they see, oh, they do music too. And now I'm tuning in, not just because of that. I like their music as well. That's a lot of times what the situation is.
It's that social media presence.
Right.
It is so important now. And that's what makes it easy for people to get picked up quick. Right. So I only hope that I do. So you know what? Everyone go follow my TikTok. Okay. Go follow my TikTok. Go follow my Instagram. Go follow me. Get me out there. Right. I'm gonna do this thing.
Right. Make sure you hit that follow. Throw some likes or some comments on there as well. Share them. Share.
Toss it out.
Toss it like out that. There. Right. Like the money. The money right there. Money. Being a lady of many talents, you have helped other creatives become the best versions of themselves by providing the opportunity for artists such as myself and others in the community to showcase their gifts in events such as RapCon 2.0 at the Kenosha Creative Space. How did you get involved with the creative space?
Creative space I stumbled upon right around that time of the breakup and the discovering of self and finally leaving my apartment. And I started chalking outside because they always had chalk and art things. I'm a digital and visual artist as well. So I was just really drawn to it. If you walk in there, there's always art outside, huge mural on the back. And I just kind of got picked up by Francisco Loyola, the guy who runs the whole shindig. And he was like, "You're pretty good." And I'm like, "Thank you." And then he realized, like, "Oh, you have a band. Oh, you play this instrument. Oh, you teach private lessons. Oh," like everything just kind of started stacking up, and the friendship just kind of built from there. And then the creative space was like my second home at this point.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So how long have you been working with the creative space?
I have been hosting open mics open stage. There's this huge debate amongst like the live music community. Like an open mic is for stand up and like acoustic guitar and just spoken word. An open jam is when people can go up and improv and rock out and play like a 15-minute track. You know, no. Not at the creative space. At the creative space, it's come one, come all are served, all are welcome. So it's open stage. And I started that 2 years ago, started hosting. But I've been involved and just around the space for probably since maybe 2018, about. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely make sure you come out to the creative space, to RapCon, to any event that they have there. It's pretty fun. It felt like a family atmosphere being there.
It always is.
I loved it. How everybody just felt comfortable, came together. I was shocked how many people actually just came up just to do the cipher. I'm like, oh, people usually are nervous.
Not there, man. It's like it's an energy that you create and that we've been building for years. And I think the open stage events have really helped that. And bringing RapCon into it just flourished it even more, because all the rap artists that were at RapCon, even if they didn't go up for the cipher battle, they ended up coming to the open stage event and then just putting out their own material. And then I just see more and more rappers on the list every week, and I'm like, we need more of that. I love that. That's good. Keep it up.
Right. So make sure you tap in. If you're an up and coming artist or a well established artist, tap in with Misbehaving in the creative space.
Yeah.
Definitely get up there, throw your bars out there. New single, if you're dropping something unreleased, even. I dropped something unreleased for the first time.
Yeah. So. That was really good. That was such a good show. People are still talking about it. People are still talking about the first one too. Yeah. So I can't wait for the full festival. Like, it's like block party. 10 hours of music. I want to get like breakdance. I want a breakdance crew. I want to get dancers. I want to get just the entire. I want to get like graffiti artists, like doing live graffiti. Like, I just want to get hip hop culture. Like, I want it to explode like a bomb in Kenosha. Racine's done a good job. Kenosha needs to step up, and if I can be a help or an outlet for that, I'm here. So if anybody has anything you want, a show, a concept, an idea, an art gallery, a dance class, whatever you want, just find me, hit me up. Let's do this. It's time.
It's definitely time. I feel like if we had the same networking opportunity like New York, LA, they all have that connection, that chain. Atlanta, same thing. So I'd love to have that here. That's beautiful that you're trying to create that.
Thank you.
No problem. So who are your top 5 favorite industry artists and your top 3 favorite local artists?
Top 5. Do they have to be in order from number 1 to number 5?
Nope.
Okay, great. Mac Miller, rest in peace.
Right.
I actually have a portrait of Mac Miller tattooed on my
That's dope.
That's dedication. That's my boy. Mac Miller, J. Cole, Saba, Smino, No Name. Yeah. The one female that made the list. I'm sorry, Nikki. I'm sorry, Cardi. Megan, I apologize. But No Name is like that. I feel like my favorite type of rap is kind of like that underground, like, it's not old school, but the feel of it, the flow of it is, the music is very modern. The background of it is very, very now, very heavy. but it's just the lyricism and the cadence to rappers like No Name and Saba. Like, I just love it.
Oh.
3 local? That's hard. That is really, really hard.
Yes, well, yeah.
That it's hard for me because hosting the open mics,
Right.
I just see so many, and being in 2 bands too. A lot of times you'll headline for someone or open for someone or just a big music festival. So you see all these different kinds of bands around, and it's hard to pick. I would probably say Spirit Shakers, Indigo Canyon. I really like them a lot. And that's the thing too, is you'll hear the difference in like me talking about my favorite industry artists is like rap, hip hop. Kenosha, you don't see a lot of people just stepping out. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would probably put Day or Sky on that list, two of my favorite rappers who regular my open stage, and they'll just make you either stop in your tracks and listen or get up and not stop moving. So I think a performer's energy is more what draws me to them, and them being a favorite, than actually sometimes not what's being said, how it's presented.
Gotcha.
Like their stage presence and how they involve the audience sometimes kind of overtakes me even more so than the lyricism or the production of the backing track. So yeah.
I think a lot of people forget that when you're on stage, it's not just the song anymore. It's your stage presence, how you command the crowd, the energy that you give, even the personality that you portray when you're on stage. Because you could be a complete asshole and people be like, oh yeah, we want you home, go.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing too. I actually had one time at an open stage, I had somebody come through, and I've heard him before, and he was doing fine, and he's like a really genuinely sweet person. We had great conversations. And then he got up on the mic and was like, where all them hoes going? And he said that as like 4 beautiful women just walked out of the building. And he just kept going on this super misogynistic. He even said straight up, he was like, I'm trying to bring back that toxic masculinity. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, who just stepped up on the microphone? Because that is not who walked in here. And I'm like, why is that the persona you want on stage? Like, you're supposed to tell a story, man. If your music, especially if you're an original artist, your music is your story, your feelings, your experience, your life.
Right.
So why would you want to, even if your experience is a negative one, wouldn't you want people to like grow and see the art and the beauty you can make out of it rather than like just being a dick? Right. I don't know. That's how I see it. So
right.
Yeah, we don't bring that energy around my open mics. You'll be talked to real quick. Bust out my teacher voice.
Right. This industry is a word of mouth industry. All it takes is one person to bad mouth you. That one person goes tells 3 other people, and they tell 3 other people. Before you know it, you blacklisted. Going to events and they kicking you out before you even get in there.
Right. Right. And honestly, Kenosha is already struggling enough with like all these ordinances they're trying to put in place, and like these performer bylaws and stuff, and licensure that you need to get. And I'm pretty ticked off about it, because I think it's mainly based around the genre of music and the culture that feels that genre represents them. Because if you notice the bars that have been closing down, you take a look at the patronism that comes through there, and you take a look at the genre and the style of music. It's Latino, it's hip hop, it's rap. Are we not noticing a pattern, or am I missing something here? So for people to come through to one of my events and try to spread any negative energy, I'm like, you're not going to ruin this opportunity to express yourself freely in a safe place and make others feel equally as safe. Don't ruin that, because Kenosha's going through enough right now, man. Enough with that. So only positive vibes. Negative vibes are not welcome around Miss B, around the space, around Miss B's squad and space. Not welcome.
Right. Positive vibes only.
Better be.
Right.
We enforce positivity.
That's it. That's all. So as creators, we go through a lot of ups and downs. What drives you to keep doing what you do?
Honestly, I'm a teacher, so my students, teachers got it rough. Bless to anybody who is out there in the profession right now. Bless you. I'm a music teacher, so I feel like my interaction with the children, I teach grades K through 8 at a public school in Kenosha, and then I teach privately, like 4-year-old through adults. And I even have a couple rappers in Kenosha right now that are taking vocal lessons from me. And it goes from the youngest to the oldest. My oldest student told me the other day, he said, "You're such a good teacher because you make me think more about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it." And that's hard to do when you've been making music your whole life and it just comes natural. But you really put things in different ways for me to understand, and you're patient with it. That's an adult able to tell me that. Little kids, it's more like every time they leave my classroom, they want a hug. Or, you know, if they see me in the hallway, it's music teacher, and they love me, you know. Or the middle schoolers like, "Oh, you're so cool as well." It's like, "You're so cool." That's what keeps me going. Like, I love my bandmates, I love my partner, I love my friends, but I don't get to spend a lot of time with them. I spend a lot of time with kids, and it just kind of fuels me because I used to be some of these children, like really naughty and really, really wily and acting up all the time, being all sorts of disrespectful. And it was because I was going through a lot. And I always wanted a teacher or an adult or a person to validate me, make me feel loved, but also guide me and teach me. So that's what I want to be for these kids. And I can take all of my experiences as a solo artist and as someone in 2 bands and hosting these open mics. I can take that to my students and show them there's so much more to music than us just learning do, re, mi, fa, so in class. There's so much more to it. So that's why I do it, is the kids, because they're the future. And I see a bright future for our country, and Lord knows it needs help. And that's where it is in the kids. Definitely.
So true, so true. Thank you so much for being a positive light in our community. Like
Thank
you
you.
said, it is the younger generation that's going to take us where we need to go. So why not start and inspire and put a little bit of love in each one of them just to soften up the world for the future.
Right.
If you could go back in time and speak to the younger version of you, back before you started in your creative endeavors, what advice would you give them?
If you're too much for them to handle, they can go find less. Seriously. As a little kid, I tried so hard to please everybody. Adults, kids at school. Kids are brutal, man. Kids are bullies. Kids are mean. And I was a weirdo. I was a very intricate young person, and I was very sure of myself at a young age, but I don't know why I cared so much about what everyone else thought. My biological mom was never around, and when she did come around, it was almost like I was begging for that attention, begging for that love, you know, that sense of security. And when it never happened, I hated myself. Like a little 7-8-year-old girl would just, once I figured out what was going on, as I got older, I was really disgusted with it. And I kind of made a pact with myself to not care so much what people think about the things that make me happy, right? Like, I care what people think about me. I want people to know I'm a kind, safe person to be around, or, you know, someone that you can turn to and trust and connect with. But at the same time, I don't really care if you think that my hair, my tattoos, my piercings, my style, the way I talk, the things I like, I don't care if you don't like that, because you're allowed to like whatever you want. And I feel like part of my identity is what you see in front of you right now. And if I could go back and tell little me that this is what it's going to be, you're going to fall in love with yourself. you are going to love yourself so much that nobody else needs to. That would have changed my life, my younger years, definitely.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
What's coming up next for Misbehaving?
What is coming up? An EP. So Would You Kindly, the band that I play drums for, we're recording an EP last weekend, this weekend, next weekend, and hoping to release that in 2023. I'm so excited for it because the first album that we recorded about a year ago, I had just joined the band 2 months prior. So all of the parts and the music that you hear in that first album, I did not write any of them. None of them are my parts or my feel or my style. They're very rock heavy, simplistic, 4 beats, simple rock beat. This music in this EP, we all made together with me as the drummer, and you can just feel the change. It's almost more of like a bluesy, jazzy, with a little steering towards hip hop drum beat, and oh man, it's just so cool. I'm so excited for this EP. It's gonna be awesome. And then RapCon next summer, but that's far away. I wanna be able to have everything planned before I hype it too much, because the first 2 RapCons were so successful. I cannot even imagine what it's gonna be like when we can have an entire summer day with the whole block, multiple stages, multiple vendors, multiple performers, 10 hours throughout the day. Like, that's going to be so amazing. So all I'll say about that is summer 2023, you better be ready for RapCon. That's it. No RapCon 3.0 or number whatever. It is RapCon from now on. Yearly festival of all things rap and hip hop.
Make sure y'all be on the lookout for RapCon coming up. Tap in. If you're a performer, get in contact with Misbehaving so you can get up there, turn up the crowd, and enjoy yourself and have a good time as well in a safe, creative space. Mm-hmm. Definitely. So where can our viewers find Misbehaving?
Well, you would think this question would be easy to answer because I have like 5 profiles for every social media outlet I have. But honestly, just Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Go follow my TikTok. Apparently that's how people make it out here. So go do the thing. Right. TikTok is Misbehaving _262. And there I think I have like both band TikToks tagged, so you can find that. Instagram is Misbehaving Music, and then I'm real particular about who I let follow my personal page. The Real Miss B is my other one, and then just Facebook. Just type in Misbehaving, or I guess Kenosha Creative Space. You could type that in. I'm on that page too. You can follow me, I guess, Haven Nicole Wells, but I don't know. I got like over 1,000 friends, and I feel bad. I feel like that's the stereotypical thing that people do nowadays. Like, I have so many friends on Facebook, and I'm like, but do you know them?
Right.
And it's starting to get to the point where I'm like, no. So, I don't know. Either way, just Google me, man. It's the best way to find me.
Right.
Or just walk around downtown any given night of the week, downtown Kenosha. You'll probably find me. Just listen for the music, follow it, and I'm probably there.
Follow your ears.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all tap in with Misbehaving. Make sure you tap in with the band she's tapped in with as well. Make sure you tap in with the creative space and RapCon as well. Make sure you hit that follow, that thing she said to do. Do that thing.
Do that thing.
Right. Thank you again for being on my podcast. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, man. Holy cow. This was a beautiful conversation. I appreciate it.
Oh, anytime. I look forward to having you again as well. Make sure y'all tap in with the Journey Project podcast on Fridays at 7. And make sure you tap in once again with Misbehaving, all right? Y'all have a good evening. All right, y'all. That was our interview with the amazing musician, singer, songwriter, Misbehaving. Make sure you go support her and tap in with her at the Kenosha Creative Space. Don't miss your opportunity to shine at their open mics, all right? And make sure you tune in to the Journey Project podcast on Fridays at 7 p.m., all right?